Hey everyone, today we're diving into the era that made Sylvester Stallone an action superstar. From Rambo to Rocky and beyond, these years cemented his legacy as one of Hollywood's greatest action heroes. Let's jump into Stallone's most explosive performances from 1982 to 1995.
He's just another fighter.
No, he ain't just another fighter. This guy is a wrecking machine.
1982, Rocky III. The third installment in the Rocky series saw a more refined and confident Rocky Balboa facing Clubber Lang, played by Mr. T. Stallone showcased a different side of Rocky, more successful, yet vulnerable to complacency. His emotional depth in dealing with Mickey's death, combined with his incredible physical transformation, made this one of his most memorable performances. 1982, First Blood. This film introduced John Rambo, a Vietnam veteran struggling with PTSD. Unlike the later Rambo sequels, First Blood was more of a psychological thriller than an all-out action film. Stallone delivered a powerful performance, balancing Rambo's raw aggression with a heartbreaking vulnerability, particularly in the emotional breakdown scene. His portrayal of a broken soldier resonated with audiences and made Rambo an iconic character. 1984, Rhinestone. A rare misfire for Stallone, this musical comedy paired him with Dolly Parton, who had to transform him into a country singer. His performance felt out of place, and the film was critically panned. However, Stallone showed his willingness to experiment outside of action roles. 1985, Rambo First Blood Part 2. This film took Rambo into full action hero territory, turning him into a one-man army. Unlike the first film, which had emotional depth, this sequel was pure adrenaline, with Stallone performing intense stunts and action sequences. His physical presence was at its peak, solidifying Rambo as a legendary action figure. The film was a massive box office hit and became a defining moment in Stallone's career.
Hard to stand in front of me. And to do that, he's got to be willing.
1985, Rocky IV. One of the most famous entries in the Rocky franchise, Rocky IV saw Stallone's character taking on the seemingly invincible Ivan Drago, Dolph Lundgren. The training sequences, emotional stakes, and Rocky's transformation into a warrior-like figure made this film legendary. Stallone's intense performance and chiseled physique showed his total dedication to the role. Just 1986, Cobra. Stallone played Marion Cobra Cobretti, a no-nonsense cop taking on a dangerous cult. This was a dark, violent, and stylish action film that became a cult classic. Stallone delivered one of his most badass performances, fully embracing his tough guy persona with minimal dialogue and maximum intensity. (1987) Over the Top. A mix of action and drama, this film saw Stallone as a struggling truck driver trying to reconnect with his son through an arm wrestling tournament. While the story was formulaic, Stallone brought emotional depth to the role, balancing the action with a heartfelt father-son dynamic. 1988, Rambo III. This film took Rambo to Afghanistan, escalating the action to absurd levels. Stallone's physicality was unmatched, performing incredible stunts and battle sequences. However, the film lacked the emotional weight of First Blood and leaned heavily into action spectacle.
You're being transferred. Transferred where? What the hell?
1989, Lock Up, a prison drama where Stallone played a wrongly convicted inmate facing brutal treatment from a sadistic warden. Unlike his typical action fare, this role required more emotional intensity, and Stallone delivered a strong performance.
Glad you could drop in. You like jewelry?
In 1989, Tango Cash, a buddy cop action comedy pairing Stallone with Kurt Russell. Unlike his usual roles, Stallone played the more refined and intellectual cop, contrasting with Russell's wild persona. Their chemistry made the film entertaining, and Stallone showed his ability to mix action with comedy.
Mr. Balboa, it means that you've suffered some damage to the brain.
How long until he recovers?
The effects are irreversible.
1990, Rocky V. This film attempted to bring Rocky back to his roots, focusing on his struggles after retirement. Stallone's performance had emotional weight, portraying Rocky's vulnerability as he mentored Tommy Gunn. However, the film was criticized for lacking the excitement of previous installments.
You should be so lucky.
Don't say that about the man I'm gonna marry.
You're not gonna marry that monkey. You're gonna marry the man I picked out for you, Bruce Underwood III. Forget it! Fine. Fanucci's!
1991, Oscar. A rare full comedy for Stallone, Oscar was a farcical gangster film where he played a mobster trying to go straight. While his performance was decent, audiences didn't accept him in a comedic role, and the film flopped.
Get your hand out of there.
Really?
Police, stop!
Nobody listen.
1992, Stop or My Mom Will Shoot. Another comedic misstep, this film paired Stallone with Estelle Getty as his overbearing mother. The humor was forced, and Stallone's performance felt out of place. He later admitted regretting taking the role.
What's in them?
None of your fucking business!
Shoots, socks, $100 million, the usual stuff.
1993, Cliffhanger. A return to form, Cliffhanger was a thrilling action film set in the mountains. Stallone played a former rescue climber forced into a dangerous heist. His performance was physically demanding, with breathtaking stunts performed at high altitudes. This was one of his best action films of the 1990s.
Simon Phoenix is an old-fashioned criminal. We need an old-fashioned cop.
Thanks a lot, you shit.
1993, Demolition Man. A sci-fi action film where Stallone played a cop frozen and revived in a futuristic society. His chemistry with Wesley Snipes, who played the villain, was electric, and his mix of action and humor made this one of his most entertaining roles of the decade.
I hate knives.
1994, The Specialist. A mix of action and romance, Stallone played a hitman working with Sharon Stone's character. His performance was solid, but the film relied heavily on style over substance.
This room has been
1995, Judge Dredd. A futuristic action film based on the comic book character, Stallone played Judge Dredd, a law enforcer in a dystopian world. His performance was physically commanding, but the film was criticized for its changes to the source material. However, it gained a cult following over time.
Los clavos de Cristo. Robert Rath.
1995, Assassins. Stallone played a veteran hitman facing a younger rival, Antonio Banderas. His performance was subdued compared to his usual action roles, making the film a tense, slow-burn thriller.